Carlos Quintana has had only one bad fight in 26, a loss to Miguel Cotto, yet there is a strong sentiment that his win over Williams was a fluke. Now, he wants to prove that a myth tonight. Paul Williams, still just 26, is only one fight removed from his stirring win over Antonio Margarito, and yet his only loss as a pro has many suggesting he was overrated to begin with. Fair or not, all these questions about these fighters are real.
And Al Forrest, very out of character, took some verbal shots at Mora. We're used to hearing that stuff, but not from the normally reserved and respectful Vernon Forrest. Coming up first, Carlos Quintana and Paul Williams meet for the second time in 4 months, a reprise of an upset of the year candidate in which Quintana shocked the boxing world with a sensational win over the previously unbeaten Williams. Al?
You know, Steve, there have been many theories floated to explain Carlos Quintana's upset win over Paul Williams. Most of them center on Paul's preparation, both physical and mental, which suggests that the X's and O's of that bout and what Quintana achieved were irrelevant. I beg to disagree, and that's why tonight's strategies and techniques are very important. It's especially important for Williams, who lost the first fight. One of the improvements needed is doubling the jab more often. He missed a lot of his punches high in the last fight. He needs to aim for Quintana's chest. The straight left is not as available against Quintana. His right hook landed more often in the first fight. In awkward inside action, Williams takes advantage of Quintana's low hands to land this very big right hook. Carlos Quintana created angles that did not allow Williams to set and deliver big punches. He needs to do that tonight for sure. Williams may unload a huge volume of punches early. Quintana needs to keep his poise during that onslaught. And Carlos was surprisingly effective in delivering the left hand in a variety of ways. When Williams missed with punches like this right hand, he often went off balance. Quintana was able to deliver good straight lefts. Quintana hopes for more of this tonight.
Going into his last fight, Paul Williams was viewed as not only one of the best young fighters in the world, but one of the most avoided. The tall southpaw was a significant favorite to beat Carlos Quintana and seemed destined for a mega fight with Miguel Cotto. Simply put, he was supposed to win. But Al, the Punisher was punished in a stunning loss. Was he looking ahead? Does Quintana have his number? Was it merely an off night? Or was he overrated?
A lot of questions, and you know, it may boil down in this rematch to whether Paul Williams accepts that Carlos Quintana may have done just a couple of good things in that fight, and it wasn't all about him. For his sake and for his fans' sake, you hope he made some adjustments for this fight.
Well, he's very loose as he waved to the crowd, acknowledging the fans. So the big question tonight, how will Paul Williams respond in his first fight since his first defeat? The odds makers have their answer, making him a slight favorite, despite the fact he was dominated in the original by Carlos Quintana. Easy-going lefty Carlos Quintana, hearing it from the crowd in his first title defense. His win over Williams surprising given the way he was overpowered by Miguel Cotto and the way Williams beat Margarito. And interesting how he was exposed by Cotto in a brutal loss, yet he exposed Williams. Quintana outboxed and outslugged Williams, Al, but tonight he's got to prove himself all over again.
And he feels that, and I think he is happy about that. You know, it will motivate him to perform here tonight. You know, he thought it was an aberration that he was such a big underdog in the first fight against Williams because the only bad fight he ever had was against Cotto, so he thinks he will prove again tonight. He's just better.
Well, he's clearly the crowd And let's size him up as we check the tail of the tape. Williams turns 27 next month, but the focus on his height and reach. He's 4.5 inches taller with a whopping 9-inch reach advantage, and both trim and ready. Judging by their weights from yesterday, you'll recall Williams struggled with his weight before the first fight. And the notable unified rules for this world title fight: there's no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt causes a fight to end within 4 rounds, it's a no decision. After 4 rounds, they go to the scorecards. And if a punch causes a cut and the injured fighter can't continue, he loses by TKO. So here at Mohegan Sun, a rare immediate rematch, Quintana Williams 2 for the WBO welterweight title. The formal introductions from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you and welcome to Mohegan Sun Casino Resort here in Uncasville, Connecticut, as we have a big night of action coming your way, brought to you by Gary Shaw Productions and Showtime. The first world title attraction is made possible by DeBella Entertainment and Houston Tudor Promotions, and is sanctioned by the World Boxing Organization, President Francisco Valcarcel, Supervisor Luis Perez, along with the Mohegan Tribe Department of Athletic Regulation. Introducing to you our 3 judges scoring this bout from ringside. From Avon, Connecticut, Glenn Feldman. From Suffield, Connecticut, Don Trella. And from Rivervale, New Jersey, Steve Weisfeld. Introducing to you our 3rd man of the ring, a referee in charge, hailing from Brooklyn, New York, Ed Claudio. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing in a rematch for the WBO welterweight championship of the world. Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with gold trim, hailing from Aiken, South Carolina. He weighed in at a trim and ready 145 3/4 pounds with a fine record of 33 wins and 1 defeat. He has 24 wins coming by way of knockout. Currently ranked the #1 contender. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former WBO welterweight champion of the world, introducing Paul the Punisher Williams. And his opponent across the ring, the defending world champion on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue trunks with silver trim, hailing from Moca, Puerto Rico. He weighed in at a ready 146 pounds. His fine record stands at 25 wins, 1 loss, 19 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, he is making the first defense of his title. Here is the defending WBO welterweight champion of the world, introducing Carlos El Indio Quintana. Once again, a referee in charge, Ed Claudio, now to give instructions. 12 championship rounds of boxing scheduled.
All right, Paul, Carlos, Paul. Okay, Paul, Carlos, you receive your instructions in the dressing room. We're going 12 rounds or less for the WBO welterweight championship of the world. I believe it's a little high, Paul. Let's bring it down some. Anything from here on down is going to consider low, okay? All right? Okay, all I ask for is a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself, ya tú sabes, Carlos. Una pelea limpia, protege todo el tiempo y escúchame con lo que te diga del cuadrilátero. Touch him up, let's get popping. Vamos.
The height differential immediately noticeable. Didn't bother Quintana the first time. The skillful champion has to be confident. He outclassed Williams early in the first go-round. Williams said he'll be more aggressive at the outset here in this sequel of southpaws. He certainly should be highly motivated. Here we go.